broadcast. And this is Too Far Enterprises. And today, we will be talking about let truth be the authority, not the authority be the truth. So truth is the authority. And authority is not the truth. Just because somebody is a pope, a president, a pastor, doesn't mean that they won't lie to you. And in fact, most of them will. But we have been programmed to believe in authority figures. See, this is the way we've been institutionalized, okay? And we don't even know it. For those of you who have not been here before, the Church of Tomorrow Morning does not take any tithes. You don't have to come back. The only thing that was required is for you to open up your mind and to use your spirit to understand what the truth is. I have a series of questions, and then I'm going to read something to you because I have to make sure that you understand that the Church of Tomorrow Morning is here just not only to make you think, but to help you realize where God truly lies, and that's within you. Okay? We've been told a lot of stories and a lot of things, most of them which we can't see or feel. The feeling that you feel is in your spirit, where that true God lies. But you were given a book, and you were told by people that you took as authority figures that you were less than human, that you were a nobody, you didn't contribute nothing to civilization, on, so on, and so on, and so on. But I got a letter from a man who was in a royal position from the 1800s, but his people had contact with Africa since the 1500s. And he tells it exactly like it is, because you believing in smoke, clouds, anything that they told you to believe in. But the truth that lies inside of yourself, you're too scared to believe it. You've been believing and having faith in something so long, you will believe the lie and you will continue to believe it because you don't know anything else and you scared to death that you don't have nowhere to go on a Sunday. You're scared that you've been lied to for 400 or 500 years. What would happen if you kept your Sunday money and applied it to your needs, your family, to your kids' college? How many pastors would preach for free? In my day, the pastor, he worked. He worked not only for God, but he worked for his substance. Nobody took tithes to take care of him like he was a king. Okay? How come you don't see the God in you? What makes the European think he is a God while you act like a slave? Where are the church leaders in the fight for human rights? And why are we always talking about civil rights when you are going to put civil rights before human rights? That makes no sense. Somebody must have told you that, because I want my human rights to be a human before I'm thinking about anything civil. There's nothing civil about this whole system, why they don't work anymore. And we're talking about church pastors. Lead by example, not by a man's word. You've been led by a man's word so long, you don't even look at his deeds. Look at Congress, the Supreme Court justice, even the presidents. You're led by authority and words. And when those words and that authority fails you, you wind up in the same stupid position. You just don't want to see the kind. You like to be kind. But let me tell you some truth. This is not by me. This was taken from a university, a Spanish university. I won't even attempt to even try to pronounce it. But it's a letter from Leopold of Belgium to the colonial missionaries, 1883. This is not my first time reading it, and I'm not giving up because I want you to be able to hear his words. And his words are not only the words of a leader in Belgium, but they are French words, they are American words, they are Dutch words, they are Swedish words, they are European words. Reverends, fathers, and dear compatriots, something that they will never tell you, a person of color. The task that is given to fulfill a very delicate task, and I just made a pronunciation error, and you're going to have to excuse me. But the task that is given to fulfill is very delicate and requires much tact. You will go certainly to evangelize, but your evangelization must inspire, above all, Belgian interests. Your principal objective in our mission in the Congo is to never teach the niggers to know God. This they already know. Now, I want to simplify something to you. He's referring to you as a nigger, but he's the first nigger. Europeans are first niggers. You understand? Asians, all of these people. Do you know in Asia, they have gods named after niggas? They don't spell it the same, but the same thing. They got gods named Sambo. So this is what I'm talking about when I speak about let truth be the authority, not authority the truth. Because this man thinks that he has so much authority, he can change your name, your life. And that's what he did in the Congo. And he is still doing it today because we let him. Your principle, they speak and submit to other gods, Mangu, Zambia, Zamakoba, and what else I don't know. They know that to kill, to sleep with someone else's wife, to lie, and to insult is bad. Your essential role is to facilitate the tasks of administrators and industrials, which means you will go to interpret the gospel in the way it will be best to protect our interests in that part of the world. So he's telling you right there that they're going to teach the Bible that in a way that protects their interests in the Congo. For these things, you have to keep watch on disinteresting our savages from the richness that is plenty in their underground. That's our African resources. To avoid that, they get interested in it and make you murderous competition and dream one day to overthrow you. So they're coming in to your country, Africa, America, and wherever else they go, They're coming in to colonize, take, and make you a slave, to indoctrinate you to their slave type, I would say, governance, and to overthrow you and to use your back, your labor for free. Now, he talks to the missionaries and talks about how the missionaries will find texts ordering and encouraging followers to love poverty. Happy are those who are poor because they will inherit the earth. It is difficult for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God, but he's only talking about black men or people of color because they already have heaven on earth. You have to detach from them and make them disrespect everything which gives courage to affront us. I make reference to their mystic system and their war fetish, war protection, which they pretend not to want to abandon. You must do everything in your power to make it disappear. Your action will directly, essentially, be directed to younger ones, for they won't revolt when their recommendation of the priest is contrary to their parents' teaching. So I have to stop there because YouTube only allows me 10 minutes. But we want to go on just a little bit further, telling you about a letter that's used in the Bible as its authority to manipulate you, enslave you, to strip you of your resources, and even today to keep the lie up, but you know the truth in your heart. African children have to learn to obey what the missionary recommends, who is the father of their soul, not the creator of them. He's the father of their soul. So they don't have the ability to think for themselves. You see, once they start believing in their own lie, you must singularly insist on their total submission and obedience, avoid developing the spirit in the schools, teach students to read, but not reason. So, evangelize the niggas so that they stay forever in submission to the white colonists so that they never revolt against the restraints they are undergoing. Recite every day, happy are those who are weeping because the kingdom of God is for them. They don't even believe in the same thing that they teach you. Convert always the black by using a whip. Keep their women in 9 months of submission to work freely for us. Force them to pay you in sign of recognition. Goats, chickens, eggs, every time you visit their villages. Make sure that the niggas never become rich. Sing every day that it's impossible for the rich to enter heaven. You keep that indoctrinated into them, conditioning them. Make them pay you a tax each Sunday Mass. Use the money supposed to be for the poor to build flourishing business centers, not to build up their nation. Institute a confessional system that will be used for detectives to denounce any black that has a different consciousness contrary to that of the decision maker who is the colonist. Teach the niggas to forget their heroes and to adore ours. Never present a chair to a black that comes to visit you. Don't give him more than one cigarette. Never invite him for dinner, even if he gives you a chicken every time you arrive at his house. The above speech, which shows the real intention of the missionaries, Christian missionaries' journey in Africa, was exposed to the world by Mr. Bahuko, born in the Congo in 1915, and who in 1935, while working in the Congo, bought a secondhand Bible from a Belgian priest who forgot the speech in the Bible. That all missionaries carry out and still carry out this mandate. Those Africans who voluntarily converted to Christianity before the colonial conquest, such as Alfonso I of Bak Congo in the 15th century, probably did not discern the purpose of that brand of Christianity that was supplied to them, which was probably why they fell easy prey to the missionaries and white traders and pirates who followed them. Now, I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to focus on that brand of Christianity. Whose brand of Christianity is it talking about? Because you know that they got Christianity from Africa. Or maybe you don't. I surmise that most of us don't like to read, and that we hold that Bible and we only look at some parts of it. We don't read it cover to cover. I did it for 8 years, and I started to see some things that made me very uncomfortable. So believe me, all of us have been subjugated. Some of us have become free because we made ourselves free. Now, when I say free, I'm talking about spiritually free, free of the church, free from the lies that were told to us by our colonizers, the ones that we keep. See, most people won't admit that they go to church to look good, to put money in church, to benefit others, when sometimes they need that money to sustain their own household. See, the real church is in you and in your family, men, women. That's where you're supposed to have the real church. But because you submit to authority figures, and I'm not talking about just in the Congo, I'm talking about right here. We submit to authority figures who in turn dictate the truth to us. See, we don't no longer live by truth is the authority. We live by authoritarian figures. Why do you think they fight so hard to be the president, to be in the House of Representatives, to be Supreme Court judges, to be legislators, to be police, to be teachers, so that they can continue the lie that has been told? Now, all of a sudden, after centuries and thousands of years now, the Vatican comes out with things that are in the archives or the catacombs that depict Jesus as being black. But you know what most black people want? They want that white Jesus. You know why a lot of people is going to want that white Jesus? Because they have bought into the colonization of their minds, their lives, and this system of things. You don't want the truth. The truth is too painful sometimes. I wonder what most of you see when you look in the mirror. You don't see the gods that the Creator made to walk this earth and to be the little gods here. You see people who were not even supposed to be in the position that they are in, dictating to you. And in essence, if you're a human being and you have the Spirit of God within inside of you, you are a God. You are a little God. But no doubt, when you have the Spirit of God in you, that makes you a God. But I don't think, and we're not talking about Christianity right now. There's a difference between Christianity and spirituality. They see the letter that Leopold wrote when he sent the missionaries to you, and you know it's the truth because they always send the missionaries before they send the military. You know it's the truth when you go to your day-to-day corporation plantation. When you smile in that man's face, even though you hate him and he hates you, you lived a lie. You see, but we won't talk about what that lady Nikki Giovanni just got through talking about. And it's our sisters. She said she wants a black man to lie to her, just like he lies to the European, because he doesn't like that European, but he feels though he can't do anything about his situation. But who does he come home and he take it out on? He takes it out on the woman that loves him, the children that love him, because deep down in his soul, he knows that's the only person that's going to accept that foolishness. And she loves him anyway. And she gets the least of him because she loves him. And I want you to see the comparison here. You see? Because the truth gets the least of you. The lie gets the most of you. So, what does that woman who loves you so much, rather than you mistreat her, she says she don't want to know what you've done out in the street. She wants you to lie to her, make her feel like you love her just as much as she loves you. So what do you think the God in you says when you lie to him? When you submit to people who are less than him, less than you? See, this is the church of tomorrow morning. Authority is the truth in your world. But truth is the authority of the church of tomorrow morning. Yeah. Yeah, truth is our authority. That's what we live by. Because we're aiming, we're trying our best to live a life of godliness, but not the godliness that my oppressor gave me, not the Christianity that my oppressor gave me. You see, you have to live God. You have to listen to that spirit of right and wrong in you. See, we always knew this. This is the reason why I do what I do. You may not like it, but today, the church of tomorrow morning wanted to give you some truths that you did not have the courage to look up for yourself. Reading is one of the most important things that you could do. This is why this man, when he colonized this region and Africa and all that, he made it impossible for you to read, to you to gain knowledge, research, and everything else. And this is why we are so behind and we have bad habits of not researching and reading. especially on our own people and on our accomplishments that they now are uncovering. Okay, the lie has been uncovered, and you still don't know. You walking around in the dark ages with niggas. Yeah. See, you don't realize that the Black Plague was in Europe, killing everybody because they were sleeping with animals and doing all kind of things, and had to come to us for help, for substance. And then what they did, what they do, a smile in your face all the time. They're trying to take your place, the backstabbers. The Church of Tomorrow Morning has given its session for today. I want to tell you before you leave, it doesn't cost you nothing to hear the truth, but it costs you your life to continue to lie.